or the ventral vagal, and we just cycle through these as life happens to and around us, taking in cues from the environment. Ideally, you want to be in ventral most of the time, unless you need to ward off danger, or catch a train, or make it to a doctor's appointment on time. By staying mostly in a ventral state, we're able to live life to its fullest capacity. We're creative and generative and social and healthy and happy. Unfortunately, some people can get stuck in the yellow or the red state, which is the sympathetic or the dorsal, which can be really dangerous or even life-threatening. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to get into that ventral state and stay there, only using the other two when you need them. Stay tuned. If you're new to the channel or you haven't yet had a chance to join this awesome community all about emotional and financial well-being, make sure and do that now before we get started. Just click the little red subscribe button and then the bell after to make sure you're notified every time we release a new video. Before I tell you how to stay mostly in the ventral state, let's talk about how this all works. The autonomic nervous system is made up of two parts, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is our body's mobilization system, preparing us for fight or flight. The parasympathetic is made up of two parts, dorsal vagal and ventral vagal. Dorsal vagal is our body's shutdown or freeze response. Ventral vagal is our body's social engagement system, allowing for connection, co-regulation, and a way to get out of shutdown or freeze. A healthy nervous system has three components: flexibility, range, and versatility. When we're able to harness the nervous system, it aids in recovery and an overall sense of well-being. So let's talk a little bit more about our ideal state, ventral vagal. The ventral, or front side of the vagus nerve, responds to cues of safety from our environment or interactions. This system is activated by feelings of safety and connection. Social engagement allows us to feel anchored and is only facilitated by the ventral vagal system. In this space, we can feel calm, safe, co-regulated, and engaged. So what are some examples of safety cues? When interacting with another person, most of our safety cues come from their face or upper torso. This is because the ventral vagal nerve is connected to the muscles of the face and upper torso. A warm smile, welcoming hand gestures or safe touch, facial expressions, spontaneity in the upper part of the face, eyes lit up with warmth and vitality. Perhaps most important is the tone of their voice, because our middle ear attunes to the human voice and is very sensitive to intonations. When a person has a soothing voice, it sends a message to our nervous system that we're safe. We also have safety cues that can come from within. A happy thought, an exciting idea, a warm memory, or a funny thought that puts a smile on your face and makes you light up from the inside, giving you hope and vitality. And then safety cues can come from our environment as well. A familiar song, or smell, or location, or animal, or landscape. Granted, those things could be cues of danger as well, but the ones that bring you into a state of happiness and aliveness and excitement, etc., those are the cues of safety that put you in that ventral vagal state and allow you to live life to the maximum capacity. This is when we have our greatest experiences, best relationships, most productive work, brightest ideas, and best health. The more often we're able to remain in this state, the better life can be. The more goals can be accomplished, and the more dreams can come true. So then, what about danger cues? When we're interacting with another person, their eyes and tone of voice and facial expressions and body language can let us know that we're not safe. And just like with safety cues, we can receive danger cues from the inside. Negative thoughts, premonitions, fears, critical thoughts toward ourselves, bad memories. And like we said before, the danger cues from the environment can also be smells, sounds, locations, and animals or landscapes. Anything that makes you feel unsafe is a danger cue. And there are other examples of danger cues, but those were just the most common. So danger cues activate the sympathetic nervous system, often in the background where we don't even realize it's happening. The first thing you noticed might be a tightening in the chest or stomach, or stiffening shoulder muscles or back muscles, or this urge to resist or get away. When we go into a sympathetic state, our body releases stress hormones that remain there for 18 minutes. Even if the danger cue was a false alarm, like seeing a stick and thinking it was a snake. Once the danger is passed and we're able to seek out cues of safety, then we're able to transition back into the social engagement system, or ventral vagal. But what happens when the danger doesn't pass and we feel overwhelmed or hopeless or unable to flee or fight? This is when the body goes into dorsal vagal, which is shut down or freeze. Its function is to protect you and keep you invisible until the danger passes. When the dorsal vagal system is activated, you may feel numb or dizzy or disconnected or listless. And you may experience difficulty with word recall or speech impediments like stammering. And the body's heart rate and blood pressure tend to drop. And again, all with the intention of preserving you until the danger is past or until you've been able to come into a place of safety again. When these three systems are functioning healthily with flexibility, range, and versatility, you can see how well designed they are. The problem is, and this is especially true for people who have had significant adverse experiences in the past, or chronic stress, or an acute trauma, or a combination of the three, it's possible to get stuck in one of the two danger states. When this happens, the systems that were meant to preserve your life can actually be harmful, especially if the person stays in those states for weeks, months, or even years. The sad thing is, there are a lot of people in this condition, and we see evidence of it everywhere. Bullying, war, murder, abuse, crime, social division, etc. When a person is trapped in either dorsal or sympathetic, or at least cycling between the two, their prefrontal cortex basically goes offline or is very low functioning, and it causes them to have a very narrow view of their life. Step 1 is recognition or awareness. Just by watching this video, you're already starting to take that step. And the more aware we become of danger and safety cues in our states and how people and environments and inner realities affect us, the easier it'll be to take steps 2 and 3. Step 2 is understanding neuroception. Neuroception is just describing how the brain is constantly taking in data from 3 different places in order to understand what's going on around us. So the 3 places are what's going on in my organs, my muscles, and my viscera, what's going on in the environment, and what's going on in between the 3 nervous states. And then our brain uses this information to create a story about the situation or how life is going. Again, we're constantly scanning for cues of safety or danger, and as we take that information in, our state shifts to either sympathetic, dorsal, or ventral, and our brain creates a story about it. And this continuously runs in the background all the time, regardless of what else we're doing. So when we start tuning into these different states and recognizing them, it allows us to determine whether a cue of danger is real danger or merely a perception of danger based on a past trauma, like a memory or something that happened when you were young. Something familiar from the past can cause us to unnecessarily move into a danger state until we learn to distinguish between the past and the present. And a lot of times these triggers or memories are implicit, which means they aren't conscious. So until we can apply awareness, these things will just keep triggering us, which will keep us locked in one of the danger states and prevent us from being in ventral. So like we said, when we take in one of these cues, either a cue of safety or a cue of danger, the brain creates a story to try to make sense of what's happening. So here's an example. I'm going to use a traffic jam just to kind of show you how the same person can create different stories based on the state he or she is in. So let's say a person is in ventral vagal and they're in the traffic jam. The story might be something like, oh well, no big deal. Everything's going to work out fine. I'll get there when I get there. This isn't going to affect me negatively. Someone who reacts to a traffic jam by going into the sympathetic state is going to be more like raging and frustrated and anxious and angry and revving up the engine and speeding in and around cars or slamming on the brakes in frustration because this person perceives that the traffic jam is holding them back from what they're trying to accomplish. Their story is going to be something like, "This is the most annoying thing ever. I'm so angry. Life is just out to get me. If I don't get to work on time, I'm going to freak out." And then someone in dorsal might react like with this feeling of the world's about to end, or hopelessness, like, "Oh well, I guess nothing's going to work out. I'm not going to get there on time. Probably going to get fired and lose my income, and everything's just going to go wrong." As we learn to tune into these stories, it will give us clues to the state of mind we're in. And as we get used to doing this on a regular basis, this grows awareness. We can't take action unless we have awareness. One tool that helps is to create a map or a chart of your nervous system. Deb Dana, who is a well-known therapist in the field of polyvagal, has called this thing the Polyvagal Ladder. I'm going to put a link in the description at the end of the video so that you can print out your own. All you have to do is click the link and then print out page 1. And I also am including a list of traits and feelings so that you can identify some of the feelings and traits that you have and organize them on your chart. Step 3 is self-regulation or co-regulation. And regulation just simply means being brought back to emotional homeostasis. And this can be done alone, but it's better to do it with a safe and trustworthy person, whether that be your partner or friend or therapist or parent. I personally find that it takes me at least 4 times as long to self-regulate than it does if I co-regulate with a partner or a therapist. So how does this work? Well, regulation is all about finding safety again, because remember, safety is the only way to be in ventral. This might be talking through the problem and having our co-regulator validate, mirror, and empathize with us. Or it might mean listening to uplifting music, or going to a safe location, even a different room, or snuggling with a pet or a partner, because safe touch is a powerful tool of regulation. If an experience is especially overwhelming or you feel stuck in a state, it's important to work with a trauma-informed therapist so that he or she can help bring you out of that state. Also, preferably a therapist who is polyvagal informed. And you can bring the chart that you print out with all of the states organized, because then this will help you and your therapist move past the introduction stage faster and get really into the meat of why you're there. The more we can learn to live out of a ventral state, the more that we can live life to its fullest and reach our maximum capacity. So hopefully you found this information useful. If you have any questions or you feel like I left something hanging, please let me know in the comments. I try to get to as many comments as I possibly can. And I also love to connect with you on social media. My page is named Leah Theobald. It's easy to find, but I put the link in the description to help out with that. And also in the description, I put a list of resources so that if you want to get started on recovery today, you can. The sooner we get past the past, the sooner we can live life to the fullest. Also on my page, while you're there, make sure to sign up for the weekly giveaway. And next week, we're going to be talking about how adverse childhood experiences affect marriage and what to do about it. So make sure you're subscribed and your notifications are turned on so that you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.